Come on, here we go. Welcome everyone. Just make sure that everyone is able to see this. Happy New Year. There we go.
Pronto para o valor entendi.
There's 2 seconds, people. Can you see me now? If you can see me now, that would be awesome. I'll record this on my computer just in case. Record my computer. Can you see me now? Awesome. Okay, I think that should work. So if people in the chat, please do let me know if you can see this. So let me just see. Thank you for your patience, people. I'm not sure why it's doing this. What's going on? Can anyone see me? Seem to be working, which is strange. If anyone can see me, please do let me know. It says unable to connect with the chat. Right, let's try again. Thank you for your patience, people. I'm not sure why that's been playing up tonight. However, that should work now. So welcome. We can see you. I see you. Okay, so you must have just seen me just moving my head about for a while. Crystal clear. Happy New Year. The best is yet to come. Can you hear fine? Amazing. Okay, so you can see you fine, no issues. So I'll edit that bit at the start. So welcome, people. It is a happy new year, and I've got a sense that everyone watching on this call is really gone beyond optimistic now. Like, we know that this year is a big year for us. And everything that we've been going through over the last 3 years, especially all the things that we've had to learn, all the things that we've had to find out about the world, people, all of that is pretty much being put out there now. And we've had a lot of time to go through it, digest it, process it, and then start experiencing it with a new level of awareness. There's not really much else. If you look at all the different bits of corruption around the world, there isn't really much else. It'd just be things that we haven't seen before. But yet all these different points that we have been shown, you'll see it connect anyway. So 2024, again, I'm not a big fan of dates because time is an illusion, which we'll go through today. However, this one is going to be a big one. You can see already that there's lots of changes happening in America, coming up to 4 years now. Yeah, it's flown by. But I would even say to people, like, it's coming up to 2 years, 3 years, when we perhaps awaken to the truth. I don't like using the word wake because of the death connotation. So I always try to replace them. It's gone beyond 4 years though. So Trump's been 2016, he went for president. So the plan started at that point, but the plan's been going on our whole life. That's the beauty of this now. It's when we've stepped in, when we've started putting all the things together, and yet we can go back and go, oh, this has literally been life, the lie. Every part of society has had something in the way of us finding God. And I found a really nice passage from the Bible, which pretty much sums up all the things that I've been sharing of recent to show that it's the darkness as a system, not people. It's the people that add to the system as a collective. So people feel like they've got away with it and they're like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I haven't touched anyone. I haven't broken any laws. They're still part of that system. That's what we're finding out now. And it's been fascinating to watch because every bit of evil is linked to every bit of corruption. Every bit of corruption comes all the way back up to the Bible and God, satanic Luciferian worshippers, all of it. So people are starting to awaken to the truth that whatever they've been doing, big or small on their crime scale, it's still contributed to something far more superior than what we've ever had to experience in our lives. And yet now we're seeing the biblical story that we're going through. Yes, time is, it is. Happy New Era, Harry from Bonnie. Welcome, Bonnie. Has the JP Morgan flight list been released yet? I'd say just be hasty and hang on with things like that now. It's not about that list. That's just getting more public awareness in. As soon as that goes, remember, one leads to another. So you'll know when the list is released because everything will start taking place. It'll be a whole domino knock-on effect. Where are we? Happy New Year, Harry. You're looking great and beaming. Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone on here as well. Yeah, I'm excited now. It's been a journey. It's just I know now that it's time to focus on the next chapter. It's like we're so far ahead now than what we was when we first stepped into this. Yet we can choose to keep going back into the movie. We've set up for the grand finales. So we don't have to go into all these little other rabbit holes that have nothing to take us into what we found out already. It's kind of just a side hustle. And people are still going into those spaces in fear. So it all comes down to being present for all of this. So my encouragement is, and it is an encouragement, is to start seeking what is next and your role within this. And I'm really going to hopefully reinforce like everyone watching who's done their part and done their part is just learning and growing are the most smallest number as a percentage in the worldwide population. Like we are the 1%. If we break it down, I'll show you some quick math. And then you're going to see, whoa, like the 1% of the world, you've had a role to play. You've conditioned yourself, you prepared yourself. Like there's millions and billions of people that are going to need all of this, like holding hand all the way through. So everyone watching on here, just know you're in a small percentage of people. It makes you unique, it makes you special. And it also shows that we have a lot to do because there's a lot of people who haven't even put their foot into the water yet to actually find out what's been going on. Hi, Joseph. Happy New Year, off topic, but I was interested in your views. You should be able to take that now. They're dropping like flies. That's all I need to say on that one. I don't really want to touch on that side of things tonight. This is going to be a good soul coaching session. And when I said our role was going to be important, it's these sort of things that will make our life so much more simple. These sort of things we can put into practice straight away. These sort of things you'll get a knowing instantly when you do put it into practice, because the truth is simple. So I'm going to share a number of things that we can start. I'm going to encourage again to apply to your life and to use this to share with others, because it is an instant, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Never thought of that. It snaps people out of any unconscious state that they're in, because it brings awareness, which makes you present, which asks your own questions and gets you pondering. Doesn't matter what they've been through, what they know is going on. This stuff is an instant connection. Then when you get their attention and they've had the feeling experience, that's when we can go on to sharing all the other stuff. Is we rush to share things that they do not resonate with. And the resonation, just think of it as fear. for them, it's scary as, because if any of it's true, their whole life for the last few years has been a lie. We have to take these things into consideration. However, I'm telling you, this will make this next chapter, which you could paint in two different visions. One, nightmare, end of times, what is going wrong? Like, you can imagine people just going absolutely mental. And you got the others like, look what they're doing now. Look what they're doing now. So we can start painting these pictures and putting ourselves within it. And you'll see this is the way that I now use dark and light. This next phase, dark and light, is just going to be lost in dark. And now the light's been ignited. They can start shining and beaming through this darkness. Darkness doesn't have to be labeled as evil. It's evil within because we're not living. Live backwards is evil. As soon as you can start getting that one thing, it's the aha moment, it's the light bulb moment, it's that spark. That's the soul. That's the ego being caught out and can't come back from it. It's like, can't even argue or just, oh, you got me. You've got closer to God again. Ego's job is to stop us getting those moments. And in the end, it kind of recognizes that as a good one. I've been keeping that from you for a long time. So these are the things that we can play now into our role within this, is helping people navigate through the darkness, being the guides. And the title of today's one was The Messengers of Truth Through the Transition. So the transition for me is going to be the scare event. I see it as a domino effect, like corrupt, arrested. And it's like, what, that. And in that process, that can get quite scary too. So all of these things that are going to take place, we need messengers. Messengers just sharing their light, just sharing information and being the guide to help them through it without putting any pressure onto them. It's a really cool task once you start seeing how simple it will be, how rewarding it will be, and also coming back to that self aspect. No one else even needs to know. You'll be recognized. But what you've prepared yourself during this time, think about 8 billion people, you're 1% of 8 billion people. And within that 1%, I guarantee there's even less figure of people that actually have been on the right team and made a difference. It's powerful, powerful stuff. So all this is just going to add to our story even more. So my next Aiken, we're looking left and right, what's happening. I can imagine that happening as well. Yes, we are. Let's go. I'm looking forward to going through portals and chatting to what we know as good ETs, but may have been longer than us. It'll be fascinating. Indigo color child, i.e. Havania. Evening, Harry and chat. I hope everyone is well. Happy 2024. Late as nearly forgot that the notification didn't work. So welcome, people. So the messengers through this transition. So as I'm sharing this today, see if you can take some of these things and start bringing awareness to your life. And this is a great way to go back and revisit things that have taken place for us. And things will pop up. There'll be conversations, there'll be certain people, there'll be certain memories that you realize, yeah, I made a mistake there, or I did this then. This is for everyone. The beauty when it comes to energy, your soul, we're all soul. So this does apply to everyone. As I said, it's simple and it's instant. And the next thing about it is so powerful, so powerful. And these are just give you different ways that you can start engaging and reconnecting with certain people within your life. And the best bit about all this now is like fear or love. That's what life is about, fear or love. Love starts in silence and at peace. So if I'm looking at anyone and they're not from that peace and they're agitated and they're frustrated, there's a level where I don't even engage, I don't even make eye contact. I can see straight away they're loud, they're boisterous, they're fidgeting. I'm not engaging at all. It doesn't resonate whatsoever. If I see someone slightly distressed and uncomfortable, I can see it and I can choose to be going into conversations with a bit more awareness and a plan. After that, If everyone else just turns up in that calm space, you just meet a new soul. It's a new connection, a new experience. It's energy. You don't need to judge about any of that part. So you can now see it from people. So from fear to love. So everything we do today, we're going to look at duality. Every problem, we're going to locate a solution. For every negative, we're going to see if we can flip it and find the positive. If we look at something that's happened in the past as being bad, we can change the perspective and use that to show you how much more prepared you are for the future. So I really want you to start using this yin and yang. Once you start seeing the duality of it, you always sit in that silent space. You can see what both scenarios are, and then you instantly, before even engaging with people, you can set your boundaries. And because you've seen the whole duality, there's certain things that you can go through life and I would not accept anyone speaking to me like that now. Now I know how you can be spoken to. Now I know how I used to speak to people. I realize if anyone says certain things, end the conversation. Don't need to argue with it. So what this starts doing is you're seeing what is worst case. You're seeing what your entry point is, and you'll see then that gauge. If people then go back over it, you call them out on their energy. The best way that I like explaining that when it is love or fear, if I'm having a conversation with someone and they're getting angry, I say, you're in fear. Or I'll be better with my words, you are in fear. And this is how it works every time. The fact that they've got agitated, it has to come from them. I'm really working on that. I don't get agitated unless it's been triggered by the other person. It's silly now for me to get angry. I get upset. I get sad. Getting angry, it rarely happens now. And if I'm disappointed with things that I've done, it still doesn't turn to anger. I might stub my toe and go, it's still not angry. It's like, you stupid. So when we start looking at this yin and yang part, all of a sudden you can make a choice straight away. Doesn't need to be confused or anything, but you also have a way that you can flip it. One of your biggest powers throughout these things as well is questions. Asking questions is one of the most powerful gifts. So if you look at just the words on that, actually, asking as king. You are king when you ask the questions because the other person has to answer. And when it comes to truth, if they cannot answer that as a truth, you don't have to accept it if they're unable to answer their questions. If you ask questions and people get agitated, you know that there's a trigger there. It's awareness to someone else based on that. It always comes from questions. So the word listen, if you use the anagrams that you can make with it, silent. Silent, listen. To listen, you have to be silent. If you look at if you're unable to listen, you are deaf, DEAF. But if you look at deaf, DEATH, the anagram for that is hated. To be in a deaf space, the hate has to come from within you. So deaf, hated, silent, listen. And if you're trying to be heard and you spend all the time trying to get your words in, you're not paying attention to them. Heard is sheep mentality. Heard. You're doing all you can but you're like a sheep on repeat, like a parrot on repeat. So all the words are in plain sight too. So all these different things here, all these different words, that's a conversation starter straight away. So if we looked at the three part being the body, mind, and the soul, and we looked at optimal performance. So for the body, optimal performance, we can say go hiking. Hiking will get you doing exercise, which is low impact. It works your body in so many different ways. You're out in God's creation. If you look at the words and break it down, high king. So you get above the creation, you look down on your kingdom. You are high and king. You say high. You feel high. All in the words. So that's the body, simple. Mind, asking, as king. It's the mind that has to think about the questions by listening to the person in front of you and being present to then execute an amazing question. So that's the mind. And for the soul, is being. Soul is just being, it's present, it's the gift, it's being king. That's the most powerful thing is to get to is that space where there's no worry. That space knowing that all you have in front of you is change. And it's so scary for people. There's anxiety that comes with it. Oh, I'm not doing the things that I should be doing. But it's that little last part is what we got to let go of. And this is what I'm still working on now. Still get caught in it. Being though is none of that. It's completely dropping it and just going with the flow. It's literally just following your intuition. You're being guided. So again, different levels to all of this. As you can see, I'm quite passionate about this. It's going to be a creative session. And these are just powerful things that we can start taking into our everyday life too. I'm going to do a lot more of this sort of stuff over the next few days as well. Soul coaching for me is as soon as you bring awareness to yourself, everything else in your life changes. You learn more about others, you learn more about the creation, you get more connected with God. Then within that, you find out more about your body. You're more in tune with your body, more connected to your feelings. Your meditations is a different ballgame. Meditations, I'm going to start being wiser with my words and adding prayer into it too, because I did a bit of a debate recently, which is uploaded on here. And as soon as the word meditation come out, it was like, just complete fear. I wouldn't do that unless I'm doing prayer. And like, prayer is meditation. It's just play on words. Prayer is meditation. In the meditation, however, your body and your mind is calm. So all you can be asking is God, is soul, because there's no body and there's no mind, which allows God to know mind, know the body. So meditation has to take place for prayer to work. How do you know when you're going to get your answer? The reason why we're waiting half the time for God to come and reveal himself or for Christ to come down and save us is that we're not paying attention that God's already within us and Christ comes down, sets every knight in shining armor in the body. With Don Q, yeah, it was on YouTube. It was an interesting talk. Again, for me, I feel it's a good education to show that when you can stand on the truth, you just continue answering questions. It was the challenge, being challenged on meditation though, and it was like I can see frustration, I can see agitation in people. 10 minutes. It was like the explanation that he gave and many other people give for not doing meditation. In that time, we could have gone into meditation, asked some prayers, and received answers. Stillness and silence. Yeah, that is the soul. That is love. It's love that we look at it and we've experienced it and we're described it. It is amazing love. Love. Stillness is love. And if we knew that that was our love space and love is here all the time, again, life changes instantly. So these are the things we're simplifying it. Still doing my favorite meditations daily. Amazing. I'm bringing out some, going to bring some shorter ones out now as well. I've realized I've done a load of them around 52 to an hour long. It's just more and more people have to get out of this concept of prayer only and come into a meditation space to get their prayers answered. Didn't resonate with the energy from him and his people. Yeah, I saw your name pop up a few times. That was one of my points before going on to it. It's the aggression that comes from people. And again, these are the people we're going to have to help. These are the people, and these are the ones, they're the hardest ones to deal with. It's the anger that comes with people. For me, there's a group of people, they say 5% of people are never going to wake up. There's people in the truth movement. They're the ones who are never going to waken up. They think they're awake, but they're actually even further asleep because the truth movement is the matrix. It's the mind matrix. If you look, we don't get shown anything really to do with our physical body, because that's God. All of it is information. It's the mind. Mind is older. Like they've had a lot more years and generations of studying the mind. The body, we're only with the technology getting to grasp with that. So mind is something that they've treasured. Yeah, in that whole lifetime of generations, their mind has been occupied on one little bit of text. And then, although they're getting out to other countries, we need to send messengers and gatekeepers and just change it a little bit. Just be really fat and talk about health. Just be really angry and talk about love. Just be really ugly and talk about relationships. That's the world that we live in. And they're still stuck on that book. And they don't know the book very well either. Life has completely changed on. So this is mind, body, and now it's the experience of the soul. So anyway, I'm going off on tangents today, but it's the negativity. That's how you have to approach it with a smile. There is such a power when you're in a conversation with someone and you see they get angry and you don't flinch. You don't even pull a face. You just still, and you can, they got nothing to like mirror it with. They only can be angry at themselves. It's funny. In Arizona, I lived with someone who was angry. 7:30 on the phone to a washing machine company. It's not working. And then it'll be every day. Look at my phone. Constant. My windscreen's broken again. It was like 3 times in 2 weeks. It's mostly because you're not paying attention and God's throwing a stone at you. Pay attention. Your window screen won't break if you're in that God space. I'm convinced of that now. You ask all the time. But I dealt with that anger all the time with not even a face flinch. And I just watch it, especially when they want to moan and lay it out. And someone's like, yeah, it's so bad. It's so out of order. You just sit here like that. And just go, shh. And you can see this. That's the best part of this. And what you can get good at is calling out on that. Look at your anger. They can't even, what do you mean by anger? Look at it. It like you can see it's like its own little alien that is just on the surface now. There's a lot of that in the truth movement. Anger beyond anger, and the anger is not theirs. The arguments that they continue to repeat, the laziness that they continue to show, not willing to go and look at certain things, the duality, the simple choices people are unable to see. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of happiness there. A lot of people saying their lives are changing, versus this guy is talking about the WF again. He's talking about these people dying and people going to get taken to 15-minute cities and stuff. It's like, what do you think's the truth? In the middle of a war, like who are you going to? It's that side of things. So we're going to get people and us to duality. Is it truth or not? Instant. You should be able to know by your feelings. Even if all the signs are pointing, your truth is always from within. So the messengers of truth through the transition. Messenger, that's you. What is a messenger? Just think to yourself, like how would you describe that? What is a messenger? Use social media as an example. What is a messenger? You share some information. What is a messenger? You direct message a friend. What is a messenger? You remember that and you put that in a conversation after. That's a messenger. So, got a number of different points. If we use this on the basis of it's our engagement with someone else, one-on-one or in a group, our awareness to all these situations through our eyes first, through their eyes, and then through the conversation's eyes with a higher perspective. See tonight if you can view it from them. Always you first. And in you, if you get any anger at all, any frustration within a conversation, that's something you've got to just save. You have to deal with it sometimes because you've got the person in front of you, but you recognize it. When they mentioned my brother, I went, ugh. It's something like that we can come back to. And it's those things now, people, as messengers, as people that are aware of what's going on, these are the things that I strongly encourage you now to pay attention to is yourself. The next phase is all going to be about fear, love, dark to light. That darkness is the shadows within us. It has to come out of us. This awakening is awakening up to everything we've done in our past. And a lot of that has been buried. It's in our body, it's coming out. So the more we can start clearing away for certain things, when it gets to that point, there might be something in there, but you're conditioned to deal with it. It's not a shock factor because you've been doing the work. I really encourage people. It gets exciting when you learn it about yourself. It can be triggering too, because it's so simple. You're like, how didn't I see it? How have I gone this whole time? And I didn't even look at my kids in the eye. 10 minutes, I didn't even have time for that. Things like that. Let go of that. They're learning. The way that I like to take this, especially mums and dads, if you have one of those moments, you save that and you know that that's going to be a really powerful story that you tell your kids one day. 2024, I realized I spent no time with you. I realized I was always getting triggered with you. I realized that I was never there. And here's what I did after. That instantly is a big, big growth part to your story. And also, it then brings in a component where you can go back and visit and say, look at the difference it made. And these are the things that changed from them. So, awareness, dealing with others. We're going to simplify it to a few things today. Your thoughts, and your thoughts are always with your feelings. So thoughts, then feelings, feelings, then thoughts. The thoughts come first, the feeling gets ignited. Sometimes we're not thinking, we're in the moment, and then the feeling comes up, and then you're trying to guess what that feeling is. And that's where anxiety and stuff can come into. So I always think thoughts first, then feelings. We can get to the stage where we can just stay in silence, stay in calmness inside, and then whatever feeling comes up, if that was your ego going off, well, that was your truth shining through. So bring awareness, words, everything that we speak, we've already had the thought first. It's already gone through the feelings, and now it's our choice to be able to let that noise, that expression out of our mouth. When it stays in the body, it's only a knowing. Is it inner knowing? These are things that you're learning from the tutor within your intuition. When you let that out, that becomes a truth. It's universal. It will be in the atmosphere and it will come back at some point in your life. What you put out does come back. So words are going to be key. And words is the thing that I feel can change the world very quickly. Because it's our reactions to things, and it's bullshit. It's that automatic Tourette's fit that people have. As soon as they bring awareness to that, they'll now have a choice, negative or positive. And then it's our actions. Our actions today is just going to be awareness and playing around with questioning and noticing. That's it. These things are so simple. My life is changed by the awareness to words. When I pay attention to the words, I think more about the things that I have said and the things that I used to describe myself or put myself down. I was aware of it. Then I had now had a choice with the words and I changed it. Going through my website copy, word by word, I realized how negative my words were. I changed it. And now my vocabulary, when I go out, it naturally comes out of me. It's positive. My vocabulary has completely enhanced my awareness for words. My passion for words has completely changed too, just by bringing awareness to it. And when it comes to conversations, when it comes to the legal system, when it comes to exercising and visualization, your words play a part to all of that. The more positive words, the more God comes in your creation, the more your imagination kicks in. So all these things, they're simple. You will continue to grow with this too. Another thing that people continue to say, when's it going to end? When's this movie finishing? Your life is the movie. When's it going to come to an end? When you choose it to end. When you die. If you die. That's when it ends. So by asking questions like that, there's a pressure. You're going to get those questions a lot, and you're going to still think about things like that. Those are the ones where you can instantly change a conversation around or energy shift around when you pay attention to the time. Like it's crucial, and you realize how much we rush our life based on time, based on dates. So it's been a month already. I've done nothing this year. It is irrelevant. And if we took aging out of the process too, because they're just numbers every year, then we've got all the time in the world. So awareness to thoughts, words, then the actions follow. The actions are going to be things that we're noticing, and the awareness will be in conversations. After that, you'll see we just become a conductor. We can become the mediator with a balancing act. So when it's a negative, I'm trying to think, how can I pull this to positive? So negative self-talk. If we simplify life down to a choice, love or fear, negative self-talk, and we start love at silence and stillness, negative self-talk is quite easy to pick up. Any bad talk about yourself or the person you're speaking to, that's negative talk. Our job is not to correct people. Our job is just to make people aware of it. And when it comes to negative talk, is to give them the alternative, give them a solution. Change your words. Look what it did for me. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. As soon as you do that again, they'll realize and they'll come back to you and say, I've been working on my words. I've noticed a difference. I've been speaking differently to myself and I'm feeling better. I'm now doing it in front of my kids. So the negative self-talk is such a key part. Going through this awakening is going to be so tough for all of us. Learning about the lies that have been all around us. Some of them are going to be very hard because you'll realize it was happening directly to you. Then beyond that is just how evil the world and people in it could actually have been. Like all these things are going to be tough in our life. The last few years has been tough. All of that is going to come with negative self-talk, blame, guilt, worry, confusion, hate, anger, pity, worry. That all of those things will be attached to the words, then how they describe it. So any negative self-talk, and first, my encouragement here, stop it. Get in the way of it. Here's a good one. Listen to what you just said. Do you think that's going to help a bit anyone? You catch them at that time. It's the way that you bring awareness to it. I call them soul slaps. Like they know, why are you talking to yourself like that for? Words to avoid using. No, you're not. Don't say that. Don't, won't, can't. No, 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 you can't do that. There, I'm going to encourage, take them out of the vocabulary and conversations. We're not telling people what to do. When people are angry and fear, and you tell them, no, no, that's not what it is. It triggers them even more. No, no, you should do this. They know deep down that's not the right solution. And it's frustrating when you're not listening to me. So we're not problem solvers by giving them our take on things. Is bring awareness to their negativity. So first of all is all bad self-talk. Then negative words. And negative words, cursing, swearing, it's very difficult to say positive swearing words all the time. I would even challenge that from an inner body experience. They're not great for our system anyway. However, I understand when people swear. When it's every other word, they're unconscious. It's just part of their vocabulary. But when they're just swearing for the fuck's sake, God's sake, that's a big one. You stupid idiot, you twat. It's that. It's the anger, it's the energy, and it's throwing little things at you. That's what we've got to catch each time. And if you do this to yourself, first of all, and you realize the difference it makes when you do it, and also when you've caught yourself, you've changed it, it's the, yeah, well done, Harry. It's that reassurance and that confirmation for yourself. Sharing those stories to others gives you straight away. Listen to what you're saying. Listen how you said that about yourself. Or stop, stop, stop. What did you say just then? Are you a fucking idiot? Are you really? Is that the best choice of words you could have said for yourself? Oh, change that first. It's sometimes people don't need it. You let them have their say, but remember the certain things. Race are guilty. I guarantee a lot of people on here are. I still do it. This is the beauty of it. I definitely don't let it get me down all day at all. Sometimes it'd be stuck on you. You just can't shake it off. Where am I working? Everyone is so negative about the owner, and she swears a lot about everything. Stressful already in the kitchen as a chef, but love it too. Where I'm working, everyone is so negative about the owner. Yeah, well, the thing is you can get in straight away. They're the owner, and you're still here. If you're going to come in all the time and talk about the owner, why are you here? I feel like we can work around this and we can do it all and we can have some fun after when we go out for drinks or we'll have breakfast. But when people turn up each time and completely, we can stop all that. And also see if you can put some music in the kitchen as well. Stop myself halfway through a sentence. Amazing. And even those sort of things is powerful. Sometimes they slip. I like to use my mind now as the gatekeepers to what comes into my body. And I feel like my mind's pretty padded up. The wall's been built very well. But every now and then something slips in, and it's like it's in my inner temple now. And it's catching itself halfway through. It's like, oh, I need to move the walls back a tiny bit more. It's like it's snuck in. I have those little thoughts in my head. Don't ask me why. But it's those sort of things that help people imagine, right, I still have to work on myself then. And it is rewarding for, again, mums and dads. These things, when you share this with your kids and they do it at school, especially with bullying, and you can do something like this to stop that, it's powering. Your eyes, if you can get kids with their eyes and their energy above anything else and work on that part first, you could have the bully going, yeah. If they stayed calm in that stare and they didn't do it aggressive, that's God energy. Can't do anything. It's the fear that we give into, is that's when the stuff the fights, the swearing, everything comes in. Or our ego goes off first and provokes it and you bring it in. Energy, it shuts it off. So negative self-talk. Pay attention. A great way to do this as well, people, is work at it. So imagine you've got someone in your life that you see quite regularly. Treat this in threes. On the next conversation, you just go into it, and your intention is just to let them speak, be a bit more present, pay more attention, listen, just notice anything, listen out to negative words. So within the conversation, just listen out and take note of it. Then the second time, after thinking about it and experience it, you're come up with certain things. Oh, I could have said that then, or next time I'm going to make them aware of it. Another great powerful thing with all these as well, people, is when you have conversations with someone and it's after the first one, it could be the third or fourth or fifth one. By doing these things, you'll remember what they say. And it's so powerful in conversations when you pluck out something from the first conversation or something that they said or some feeling, and then you bring it up again. Clear as. Not, oh, where did you say you went again? Was it oh, her name was Rachel. No, 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 no. That it's those uncomfortable because we're not paying attention. So these sort of things we can go back to. So another thing, if you're not ready to stop them all, you can save them. Say, you know what I've noticed over the last few times I've seen you, every time, in fact, and you can say it so in flow. It's not like you've just been studying it. You've always been negative about this person when you speak about it. I remember the first one when you said this, remember that one. They stress you out, didn't they? Or what is it that stresses you out that much about them? Every time, look at your energy. It just allows them to realize, actually, I do waste my time and energy on them. So remember, you can save some of these for another time. I came home on Sunday after 9 hours work. My mind was being negative and I could see and watch it. Just my madness. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And it's difficult in the kitchen as well because it is non-stop. And it is a lot of other energies. Ego goes off. It is on the clock, which also is time. So we pick up a lot of that energy without us realizing. That's why shower before bed is so good as well. Feel that the water is rinsing off the energy above anything else. Then look at cleaning yourself, but just rinsing off the energy. A towel, a fan in the room, something that just shakes off the energy. Because we carry that all the time. And if you take that into bed with you, some of your dreams can be a bit strange. It's the energy you're carrying. Hair. Sometimes women don't do it every day, but to wash your hair, to get that energy out. So these are things that also play a part internally. Negative self-talk will impact the body. If people are naturally negative, you're going to see that they get ill. If people are negative, they will be in fear. And if they are angry, there's going to be elements of this next phase which is going to really, really get to them. It's a match, ego or soul. Fear is anger. Fear is negative self-talk. Fear is negative choice of words. It's all fear. So the beauty of this now is as we're going in this spiritual path, it's love or fear, ego or soul. If someone comes in that space, you'll see all the other things start matching up too. For me now, I can tell if people make a comment about a certain post, their reaction is very similar to other people that make exactly the same comments. Remember, fear is unconscious. So sometimes it's not even our own arguments. It's just a belief from someone else. Be life. It's a be lie, belief. It's got lie and belief. So bring awareness to that. You'll see quite quickly there's certain people in your life which you didn't even realize that they were being negative. And then you'll realize why. You always felt quite drained after. It was a long day. It's normally the morning. I met a number of libs in Arizona and we went hiking, and they were very good at describing negative experiences with the most amazing words. So they get good at being negative in an expressive, descriptive way. This is where all these mental health issues come into, all these influences. The things that I keep seeing at the moment as well is I'm going to do a post on it, is I've looked at some of the influencers I used to train, and it's the labels and attachments. It's the ADADHs. That's what they call them. ADEAH. Chus. I've got ADHDers. And it's like, where's all my ADHDers? It's like saying, where's my suiciders? Where you at? Like, what makes a good ADHDer? Like, I'm going, what are they doing? What are they doing? If you close your eyes, it's just you've got uncomfort, disruption, there's some disease going on, discomfort. You've given it a label ADHD. Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong loads of times, and I felt like I had ADHD. ADHD. It's a label. So another thing when it comes to negative labels, they've got all these different labels, and you get people that are quite kind, quite soft. They're very descriptive about being negative. There was the same person I remember was talking about a nutritionist, and they said, "Oh, is she any good? Yeah, she's all right. At least I haven't put on weight." So she's moaning about a nutritionist and find a positive that it wasn't actually working, but at least I didn't put on weight. Where have we heard that before? At least I would have been a lot worse if I'd have done this. That's denial and descriptive. It's these things. So pay attention to that too. So many people do this. Yeah. Same person again. These people like gadgets and stuff as well, and they're experts on, in this case, hiking. She had all the all Trails Blaze app and stuff, and she's got her technology and she gadgets, and this is the elevation. And we're brought quite high up. It's quiet. Everyone's kind of in the zone. For God's sake, it said 1,079 meters high, and we were already at 1,080 meters high. And getting angry about our experience because this little gadget is saying a few numbers on the screen's wrong. That's negative too. So it's those sort of things you can have some fun with. But you'll realize you get angry about everything. Like, think about this amazing technology is helping us, and you're getting angry about it, telling you that you're a meter underneath when it should be. They're trying to keep energy levels low. Are they Truth, negeds, yeah. And that's the next thing is then you can start seeing people with an agenda, you can only fake being happy for so long. Because if you're with an agenda, that means you're holding against something. There's a resistance somewhere. And then the anger comes out as well. So yeah, like John said, and I think it's the best advice. This again comes back to you. If you continue, especially when it's family members, you continue to have conversations, and this awareness will hopefully you'll see it now. Who's more negative? Keep away from them. If you find yourself moaning about a certain person to someone else more than once, that's all it takes, more than once, especially if it's 3 or 4 or 5 times, you realize that the moaning is coming from yourself because you haven't changed. You haven't done anything differently. You've let it continue. So all this will then turn back on yourself. So keep away from them. The more we go into those spaces and the more we get frustrated because we're not making the changes, we're not asking the questions, or in this case, we're not making them aware. That's the hardest thing to do. And this is again where it comes back to your energy and your reaction after. Making someone aware to it with no reaction. Not like, oh, I'm sorry I've said that. They'll feed off of that. They'll make you feel guilty for it. You say it in a kind way with a straight face. And they might get really angry and you say, okay, we'll speak about this next time. I'm going to shoot off now anyway. Good day with you. Let them deal with it. I did it with my business partner once, and it was the first time I had this hallelujah moment where I realized he was so angry. I was shouting, and I was just sitting there and in my head going, God, he's so angry. And I said to him after, you know what I've just realized? You're an angry person. Look how negative and angry you was. That was that conversation over. The next time we come back, the first thing he addressed was his own anger. I apologize if I was angry last time. It sits with him. Energy doesn't die. So negative self-talk, play around with it. Awareness, go through a number of different conversations, go through scenarios in your head, and come up with an amazing tool. Notice what they talk about as well, and just hold on to that and bring their awareness to that. You notice every time you speak about that, look at your energy. Notice what the words that you say about this person compared to any other one else. Why is that? So asking questions. The next one is attachments. So the next one is attachments. And this is, for me, it's one of the biggest teachings you can have in life. Everything we're attached to will put up some sort of resistance at some point in our life. Could be a little small one, still resistance. Attachment to certain things that have just been a given. For example, if you said anything bad about an English person, all the English are this, the amount of people instantly would react on the defensive. How dare they say that? What is English? Really, what is it? I'm from England. What is it? You're from a bit of land that someone else has labeled England. In other countries, it's not even called England. We're attached to it, and it's gone through us, and we defend it. So being a truther, being a Democrat, already you can see we put in these attachments because we're in our truth and we've then given ourselves a label. And anyone that defines himself anything else instantly, that's going to be so crucial throughout this for us. This is the key thing on the scare event. It's not just for the truth movement. I'm going to say it's not just for the masses, it's for the truth, it's for everyone. Because a scare event is going to be a scary place, seeing the world that has existed around us and we didn't even know. It's going to be scary of how sleepy we was. All that's going to come with attachment. All the things that we thought were true, all the people that we thought were good, not just on the movie, but in our life, there's going to be a lot of surprises. Attachment is going to come with all sorts of emotions. I think. Let me do a screen share for you. Just so I do a diary now. I like to put it on Canva, so I get a bit more creative with it. And I've just updated a few, but this will just tie in nicely here. So simple things of what to look out for. So attachments. If we look at we look at our past, anything that we've done in our past, attachment. If we look at our beliefs, it's from the mind. It's about our past, something that we believe to be true, something we've gone along our lifetime and held on to. It's been a part of our experience. It's what we've taught and what we learned as attachment. So we can go into that with our thoughts. Our words is just the labels, the way that we identify ourselves. And then the protection is from our actions. We get attached to certain things because we've always done it. However, what is about to be presented to us, you have to let them go. You have to step into the unknown. I just wanted to come into these parts though, because the attachment is, again, the words of people and the energy that people hold on to. Anyone that's in fear will have attachments. It's the same thing. So pay attention to all these sort of traits. It's quite simple if you just visualize it. It's quite easy to recognize when someone flips from they seem happy and straight away something's caught their attention. They've just read a text. They're not with it. Their eyes all over the place. You can see it just in their body language. Here, that's all I wanted to show you. Face expressions. It's quite simple if you look at ego or soul. When your kids, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. She's a bit my normal expression. I'm obviously not. I wouldn't talk like that if I was in myself. Something's bothering me. I'm bored. That might be the reason, but the face expression, it says it all. Silence is great and neutral. That's where the soul starts. You can't tell if someone's upset or you can't tell if they're happy. So it's the onus on the other person, and you can tell when people are happy. That's the first thing we're going to look at. So coming into any conversation, pay attention to that first. Like John said, sometimes we don't even engage. I even play it on this. I start with a smile. If that face doesn't even shift, we're not playing at all on there. You'll see that attachment will go from smiley to you've said something. Let's take Donald Trump. And instantly their face goes, wow, you can see that they're now prepared. Trump, Ukraine. Ego, soul, ego. As soon as you get that, you're kind of right. There's an attachment there. We've just seen it's gone from green to red instantly. How do we play it next? This is the key part for me before we even go into something. If some people are really angry, or sometimes you walk down the street and you can see that someone's a bit boisterous and stuff, I don't bother even making eye contact, even though I'm quite curious, why are they like that? Because if you meant, what are you looking at? You enter into what I call the storm, and it's the words. So you can quite easily hear people in a fear state, which is negative, from the words that they speak. And from these negative words, shouldn't, can't, don't, won't, will have attachments. I got to, I need to, I might do. You know, hate, boring, want, must, sorry. All of these words you'll see quite quickly if you can keep hearing them. And the thing is, some people are unaware that they say them all. So what happens is certain things you don't have to correct people, but you notice that they always say the negative. So when you say it again, like when people say the word hell, hell no, I say heaven, yes. I get them to change that one thing and they love it. It's what the hell, what the heaven. Oh, they change it. Can't. I choose not to. Change it. Take ownership of it. I got to. Change it. I get to. I got to go and see my mum and dad. I get to go see my mum and dad. I got to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. Don't. Do not. I don't. I don't. I did not. It's your past. Keep it in the past. I do not like. I choose not to. Take ownership of your words too. So again, pay attention to their words and for yourself, be the conductor and flip it. Pay attention to yours. Every sorry, replace with a thank you. I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for waiting. I can't come out tonight. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for that teaching. You've made me realize something big today, and I'm going to change my ways based on that. So thank you. I just want to say thank you for the way that you dealt with that. I learned a lot. Thank you for making me aware. That was powerful. Thank you instead of a sorry. Sorry for your loss. That's a big one. That's another one because death is going to be a big part of what's coming up. People are passing away. To tell someone to be sorry for their loss, what you're doing is someone that's going to be in sorrow, you're then just dumping yours on top. And just know that yours is going to be met with about 50 other people going, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Energy. We've worked with a number of people and you change it and find the positive. And you'll find loads of them and think about the energy too. And we've had examples where people say, I just want to say your message was the most positive one that I received today. Thank you. I always encourage people, pay attention to the birds, pay attention to the lights. Like focus on a photo, like they're with you in spirit. I'm going to do one on death soon. It's just still not the time at the moment. I keep meditating on it, but it's still not the time. But find the positive on that one. It's powerful. And again, your ego will go off. You naturally want to say you're sorry. Find an alternative. You'll see it changes people, especially when it comes to grieving. So, where are we? Trump always triggers them. Yeah, massively. But are they trying to keep the internet? They just keep working them. Yeah. So it's the triggers is going to be a big thing. And when people are unconscious, and again, we're a small percentage of people, we're aware of a lot more. So now you're going to get opinions coming in when you know that they haven't even paid any attention to what's going on. They've got this opinion from somewhere else, but they become the expert still. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to energy. Pay attention to arguments. At this point, we should be able to protect ourselves from any arguments. And where did you get that from? Is a great question. Where's your source on that? If people really want to go down that route, I don't feel it's going to get to that part. I just feel energy is going to be a key thing for all of it. Another big point then. So you've got negative self-talk and attachments. When people are attached to certain things, make them aware of it. Yourself more than anything else, things that you've held on to. If it triggers your ego, if there's a cognitive dissonance, be open to change on that. Is gossiping. Gossiping is one of the most energy consuming things that we can do. The more, I'm going to say, the more comfortable a person is, and comfort is just routine, and you can quite clearly see there's people that just go through the motions. Gossiping becomes a cool thing to do. It's just some way of offloading. And what we're really doing is projecting. There's some insecurity somewhere on our part that we have to feel, we have to moan about. There's something that we haven't dealt with that in the end we have to moan about. I've done this a few times where I realized I'm moaning about someone more than I should do. And I rarely gossip or anything now. And the moment you start catching yourself, that has to come back on you. Gossiping usually is going to be about other people from someone else. If you can, stop it. Change the subject. Again, bring awareness to energy. Right, we're changing the subject. Look how your energy has shifted going on to this person. Why are you speaking about? Let's come back on there. I don't need to go into that conversation today. Choose to have that with someone else. Let's focus on this stuff. Take ownership of that conversation. Gossiping, change the topic. Like step in on that one. It drains, and tell them it drains. If you were told you're dying, gossiping about someone else will consume all that healing energy for yourself. Change it, stop it, let it go. It's crucial. The more negative someone is, the more miserable they are in their life. You'll see it happens all the time. I find a lot of people that are slightly older and they've had their families and they've got their grandkids and they go to a lot of socials. They gossip about other people. And it's been interesting to observe this over my lifetime. And there's certain things that people will gossip on more than others. The more you stay away from that, the less of it will happen in your life anyway. And the more you bring awareness for other people gossiping, the more that they will start changing. Always throw that energy one in there too. And I always like to go to the death part because that hits home. We're all going to die. We're all going to find people. Actually, even that now, we're all going to die. I've got stuff on that now where I'm challenging that. I'm challenging that big time. But let's keep it in the physical side so far. People are going to die. And when we talk about what happens on the deathbed and when people are on that part of their journey, we become aware of it, especially when it is a loved one closest to us. So moaning, complaining, blaming others. I feel that if you can get better at this, you'll instantly see how the energy around conversations change for you, and you'll realize who moans them. It's the less we do it, the easier it is to pick up. And in the end, they realize that that's another thing as well. It's reputation from like a respect aspect. Is that like growing up, you'd have a mate that would never pay anyone back. They'd always borrow, but they'd never paid back. But they had that reputation. Or you had the mate that just wandered off every time we went clubbing or just disappeared, like never stuck around, just gone. You always had these people within your group having a reputation of you're just a good soul every time you're around. Like I feel better when I speak to that person. That's great. For me, that's perfect. Is that whatever the conversation ahead of you, you just know that you're showing up for another experience, another lecture, another teaching, another education session. Yes, our vessels, indeed. Our physical bodies, but not us. Our vessels is our ship. We're the owner of our ship, and our mind is the partner with the ship. Partnership, ownership. Our ship takes us on this journey. If we flow with life, is plain sailing. In duality, there has to be givers and takers. Indeed, for us, it will be, like I said, the 1% will be recognized. There will be people saying thank you. If you can take that, because you will receive them. If you take the compliments when people do send them, a big and a challenging one for people, when people do offer to help, that do send a gift, that do ask to do something as a favor, say yes to those ones. That's the toughest one. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's givers and takers. Because some of us don't like receiving. And by putting that block up all the time, all you're doing is just putting an output without the other side. So I encourage that as well. But take on board what people say. Your energy, again, you'll get compliments from that. Because for me, in the war, the scare event, the darkness, through all that, if you just show up as a calm self, like looking down at yourself throughout it, you'll be like, whoa, that is progression. Especially when we watch it turned into a movie soon. It'd be a full spectacle, and we were in the middle of it. We was just a cool cucumber throughout it. Next one is passion. So you've got gossiping, which would be a negative unconscious state. There's not much positivity that you can have with gossiping. The attachments and negativity all under fear. Within these conversations, even if they could be the most moodiest person, moaniest person, there's aspects of everyone when they speak with passion. When there's a bit of excitement, a bit of light that's ignited in them. It could be about a topic that you have no interest or taste for, yet you see that in them. It's this part here that changes everything. It's this part becomes your anchor. It's this part where you can go back to and say, remember when you spoke about that? When I give a pep talk to someone, I remember those moments. And I got a good one to share, actually. I had a guy reach back out for me and he said, Harry, I'm on my last warning with my missus. I always go out and I get absolutely smashed and I come home late or I do something. And she said that was my last chance. And he just had a little one. And he was saying all these things that he used to do. And he said, uh, he talked about his two kids and talked about like his relationship with her and how he loved her and talked about his job and he enjoyed what he did. So he shared all this stuff and then how bad it was when he got out drunk and everything. And he said, at time, I just got to live a little. I just got to live a little. First of all, listen to those words. Live a little. And I made him aware. I said, live a little. And you could, oh yeah, and I need to treat myself. That's what another says. I need to treat myself at times. Like it's once every 3 months, I need to treat myself. Look what he labeled as treat. Look at the words, live a little. So live a lot. I want to treat myself. And I said to him, mate, you've told me so many things that you love about your life. I said, that's rare. You've matched all these different things, your kids, your missus, your work. Like that is living a lot. That is the treat. I said, look what you've labeled as the treat. The one night out of the 3 months where you get wrecked, you ruin it all. You nearly break up and end the relationship and not being able to see your kids based on your actions. And you call that the treat. And it was that instant, like, oh, makes people realize what people do have. Passion. Passion is just this spark in someone. If some people have passion, they don't need to say anything. You can see when they're just playing with their kids. You can see there might be a little engagement, and they're always so kind to that woman in the shop, or they always do something. You notice it. Make sure you make people aware of that. Passion is God, people. Passion is co-creating with God. That's creativity. You don't have to go in with that's God, that's God, that's something we can work up to. But that's love. It's that energy, and you can capture people on that. And I had a fun conversation. There's a coaching call, a one-off a while ago, maybe about 6 weeks now. Same thing. Been searching the whole life for the next best thing. Done all these meditation courses, self-development, and not finding anything. And it was like this constant search. And it's just moaning and whinging and miserable. And then out of nowhere, she spoke about cooking. And then it changed instantly what she loves about it, and she's really good and really interested. And I stopped. I said, that's what it is. That's all these other things that you've been, it's that one thing. So you can find someone moaning about all of it, find that one thing and let them just focus on that. Ask them questions around that. Holidays is a good one because usually they get away from the matrix. They go into a place of presence. It's a new experience. I've been paying attention to a lot of people that go on holiday too, because that's a label on its own as well. People are not happy as a couple most of the time, which it's quite interesting to watch there as well. Passion. Find that in people, make them aware of it. When it gets negative, bring them back to that part. When they go into it, look at your energy here. Like, I just want to stop you. Pay attention to that. It's the instant they noticed me. The soul got noticed. Your body feels appreciated. Your mind's just been caught out. Like, what? They're key. Yes, love cooking. So got a job as a chef as I only eat raw, fresh food and don't cook anymore. Is it, and again, doing something you enjoy, right? It's powerful. So if you can find those elements, you can shift people instantly. When you make people aware of something that they love doing, you'll see that within a few days, a decision had been made from their end about a change that takes place within their life. If you make people aware of the time that they do spend with their kids, they can moan about the kids all the time, but find that one thing that does light them up. And there's plenty. And for me, in any conversation, that's the thing that I pay attention to above anything else when they get passionate about something. Because after that, I can just use that as my leverage. I don't even need leverage, it just flows. Pull someone up on that, and you see their eyes light up. You see they get lifted. They lift in spirits. You can see that there's like this energetic pull. It's like, well, they noticed, and they noticed something that I love doing, and they're interested in what I love doing. Go into go into a place where you've got people that were really geeky on their gadgets, and ask them what they love about it, and ask them what version it is, and watch what happens. This little nerdy geeky person comes out, and then they want to help you because you're interested. I've had people that paid for my dinner. Obviously, I offered to pay, and he goes, "No, I'll do that." And she looked at him, the wife. You sure? It's like, I've had a great conversation today. I didn't say anything about myself. I asked him questions all the time, but it was interesting because you could see no one had this conversation with me a long time. For people on here that are going to really need help, is tradesmen. If you're a wife of a tradesman, there's a skill that they have. There's a craft that they've worked at their whole life, that they've mastered, and they don't get to ever express themselves about what they love doing. Even though that they'll say about football and they'll say about all these other things, that is their gift. And I had a conversation with someone, and I just asked them to show me some of their stuff. I didn't realize what you could do as a carpenter. It was really impressive, but all of a sudden I saw this spark. We're going to need those people more than ever. That's a toxic world. It's a male-dominated world. Yeah, it's the builders, it's the creators, it's the chippies, it's the plumbers, the new world. And a lot of these people that have their workers for them, they have nothing at all, like no hope. It's just a cycle. I've seen some awful stuff with friends and people that had their businesses with some of their staff. Like all the money goes on drugs, broken family, like, and it's a common thing in the building industry. Do whatever you do naturally without payment. And you say without payment, though, but people choose to pay for certain things. The intention shouldn't be that. If you can do something you love doing and you get paid for it, that's a dream. That is, and you see some people, that is life then. That's what we all come here for. Payment soon will be service. That's going to be the wealth. It'll be a service. And again, the messengers come in. When you get to do things in life that you want to do in a world which was created for you, in a place that's completely free of darkness and evil, you can see where that leads us. It takes us on a completely new path. So, passion in conversations, and also if you're the light within the room and you're talking about, if you can catch yourself when you're being passionate about what you're explaining, that's the 4D and 5D aspect. You become aware of yourself in your flow. So co-creation to creator. It's that the awareness of the awareness, that's when it's magic. Because you'll look down at yourself, seeing you do it all in flow. So I really encourage people, especially when you're playing sports, when you're drawing, catch yourself doing it. And notice how you're feeling in it. Off to bed, lights off. Take care, Susan. And all the lights will be shining in today. And again, people remember passion. If I set up a business again now, especially gyms, I realized all the people that I employed. Some of them, like, no wonder the clients didn't sign back up again. And we're like, where's our clients gone? Because they're boring, because they're moany. They went, our sales guy moaned about everything. Didn't notice any of that before. Passion. People doing what they love doing, people feed off of that anyway. Where else are we? Oh, yeah. So another one is listening to excuses. If we can remind people of the new world, excuses are only going to come from the past. It's gone. When people keep making excuses, stop it, change it. What have you done next? What have you done about it? What changes have taken place since then? They still haven't done it all. Stay on that question. Well, when's it going to start? Yeah, but when's it going to start? Okay, leave it then. When we hold on to excuses, you'll see we dig ourselves a hole. Each time we tell the story, it adds to it. and the hole gets deeper and deeper. So for the excuses is to find the solutions, every negative to a positive. The past you bring to present. They take the teachings and the growth. So a lot of people are going to go through depressive spouts. A lot of people are going to go back and see that they were depressed, they were anxious, and then they'll tell you about they've been anxious for this long, or they've been stressed for this long, or they've had ADHD for this long, and they're going to tell you how hard it was. Our job, we can listen. I always go with the rule: if you tell me the story once, great. If you tell me that same story again twice, you're unconscious now. You're choosing to tell that story. Every story you tell, we get to choose better words, more powerful words, more, I'm going to say progressive words, because we've learned from the last time we told the story. When people just do it as a story on repeat, it's not a truth anymore. It's not coming from the feelings, it's remembered. So when people are stuck and they've said that it's been 4 years or 2 years, or try to find the positive within that. 2 years and you felt like that. 2 years and you got through it to this point. God, imagine what's going to take place with all that you've gone through for next. Imagine how many people you're going to be able to help based on your story. It's that key part. So go back, find the positive, pull it now. Go back, pull the positive, show them how it's going to help the future. Kids again. What teaching can you take your kids? Imagine when your kids realize that, like that mistake that you've made that changed everything for you. Imagine when they get met with that and they know what to do next time. That's powerful. So you have to be that figure eight. Go back and bring it forward. If people are worrying about the future, go back, put it now. What are you doing today? What was the last thing you did that lit you up? Passion again. Like growth. What things did they learn from it? Look how much they've changed. Yeah, we're still in the darkness, but look how far you've come. Look at all the awareness to all the information. Look how many more people you know. Everything has a positive part to it. Go and find it. Be creative with that. And again, people, I really strongly advise work on that for yourself too. For every negative, there's a positive. For every loss, there's a lesson. We can take all the teachings from our past. The past is just energy which is stored inside the body. They're cobwebs that we need to get rid of. There's shadows that we need to shine our light. All of them are going to come up, all of them. So by going back into it and taking what we've learned, it's a great one. What would I do differently next time? What advice would I share with a loved one? What advice would I give that person based on my experience? Here's what I did, and this is why I swear by it now. This is what happened to me at this point, and it's changed my life. When people, if anyone says, "Oh, you don't drink," doesn't serve me. My life's completely changed since I stopped. It's the instant hard truth. And all again, you take ownership of the words that come out of your mouth. So excuses, stop them. Solutions, past to present, the negative to the positive. Use time, you control it. So if it took them 5 years to get to this point, imagine the next 10 years in a world that's completely changing. Imagine what takes place then. You become the creator of all of it. And then the last bit today, really, and this is just a kickoff for the new year, but this is just taking us in. All these things, a lot of the topics we can re-go over, and they will overlap each other as well. Awareness within conversations is powerful. You learn so much about yourself and others. And the next one now, and this is the next stage. We've been caught in a 3D world. 3D is the soul, mind, and body. Body has the feelings, but we always explain from the mind. This next part is to share the truth. Truth wins. Truth is your feelings. Speak from the heart, meaning that you've gone down through the body and you felt it all first. First, also through your mouth, gives you a taste, and then you let it out. So the next part is to be able to share your truth and tell people how it made you feel. This is how I felt about it. What do you think? Doesn't matter what I think. What do you think about it? I'll tell you what I feel about it. When you've got an inkling, this is how I feel. This is why I don't even like this is how it made me feel now, because that's my past. This is what would I do differently next time based on that. So your feelings is your truth, it's your soul. We're a spiritual being having a human experience. We're going into this 5D, which is spirit, which is quantum, which is the soul. So we start there first. So the next stage to this, people, is speaking your truth. Your truth doesn't have to be all love and light. Your truth can be the tough times. It can be the darkness. Again, the negative, flip it into the positive. Could be just starting your positive today. It could be that decision that you've made. Right, this is what I'm doing. You flipped it instantly. Feelings. No one can argue with your feelings. People can disagree with your thoughts. They can have a difference in opinion. They can argue with your opinion. They can get triggered by your ego, which is the mind. Speak from the feelings and stand on that. They cannot go at you. They can try bringing up your past. Again, your feelings is now. If they bring up your past, why have you gone back there? A lot's changed since then. Like you're stuck in the past. So as soon as you start speaking your feelings, it means you become more aware. It means you're more in tune with your mind because your thoughts are the things that trigger your feelings. The more you do that, the more confident you can be to speak your truth without overthinking it. There's no thoughts to truth. It's a feeling that you then put into words. You become the scribe. You describe in from the feelings within you. When you start speaking your truth, just know that it will not always be met with the way that you deliver it. Your truth that lights you up is the truth that completely triggers someone else. That trigger is a sign of darkness, and your light, if it stays neutral, it stays shining, it'll just be a flicker in your vision. That's it. It's them that has to deal with it then, and knowing that it's not me, it's them. And yet they have been upset about it. I've spoke my truth. I've done it sincerely. I've done it with love. And yeah, you might feel bad. That's your ego that they feel bad. Let them sleep on it. It's our reactions from standing on the truth, which is the hardest. And it's the people closest to us that have been very unconscious that are the ones that still have an opinion. Many people may have experienced that over the festive period, the Christmas period, where you've come back into people's lives, family, friends. You just realize they're even more opinionated. They interrupt me, they put words in my mouth. You'll notice it even more then. Remember, it's unconscious, so it's a collective. And the level now difference between the awareness of what's going on to the unconscious matrix, preconceived ideas, and all these labels is such a gulf that you can predict it, predictive programming. So it gives us a few different things to take into this. All of them will come back to thoughts and words. So negative self-talk, that's both thoughts and words. The actions will be life manifested in front of you. You'll see the difference. The people coming into your life, the signs that take place. That shift is instant. Attachments. Attachments, if you're attached to something in the past, it's your mind. If you speak about that past moment, that's your words. So thoughts and words. Gossiping. For someone to think about someone else all the time, again, thoughts, and to be speaking constantly about someone else, all that energy, if you're bad mouthing, look, what I put out comes back. They're this and they're stupid and they're never going to achieve anything and they're always slow. I'm not going to achieve anything. I'm slow. I'm this. It's coming back to you. Your body doesn't know you're speaking to someone else. You're just speaking to God. You're speaking to God. Less and less we do of that, the more we put out will come back, and we know what we're putting out then. And then all the other surprises will be prizes. There'll be the gifts, there'll be the signs. Look out for them. There's going to be loads of them. There'll be the things that are guiding us. There'll be the reassurance. There'll be the reconfirmations. This is the exciting part I feel now on my day, is when the signs do come. And I'm going to do a whole thing on the stuff that has been happening. There's been certain things, and some that catch you. The number 33. Sometimes I'll just be in my own little world, and then there'll be a number building 333 or 33, and I'm just like, perfect. The other day, this was quite cool. I was walking, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm like, it's just one big game. That's how I said it. It's just one big game. And I looked up, and this building had all chess pieces on the building. As I looked up at that moment, and like, it's just one big game. It was too much of a coincidence. It was a little giggle to myself. They're the signs. They're everywhere. They're always here. The more you pay attention to yourself, the more then you start appreciating what comes back at you. It's all the time. And the more that we can share our experiences based on that, look how easy it is to explain it. It becomes a story. It opens and invites other people to take some time to pay attention to their life. My mum is in hospital, floor 3, was 33. I said, wow. my dad, my dad and numbers, I couldn't put the two together normally before. But my sister's over from Australia, and they took him out where they are. And my dad took a photo of the number 33 and it's pointing at the beach. He sent me, it's like a number. And when I spoke to him on the phone, we said 33, we said 33. Sister didn't have a clue. I said, look up Tesla 369. Tesla's Tesla. It was that sort of thing. So some of these things that you'll get really excited about, be careful who you're sharing with. Because certain times the people you're sharing with, it cuts that excitement off. This is why I encourage people to write them down. Like these are moments that you'll remember, write them down, they're special. And there'll be a conversation at some point with someone else that's sharing their one, and you can bring one up like that. And I love the fact that we are being able to discuss this with mum and dad. 369 are Tesla numbers. If we look at a circle or a coil, 3, 6, and 9, they sit on top of each other. So whatever way it spins, I like to look at the light. You know, at some point, if it's in either of those numbers, that's in harmony somewhere. So every receipt, put a tip on, make it 3, 6, or 9. Check your date of births and stuff. My mum, dad, and sister are all 3, 6, 9 on the family. So that was quite cool. Little things, but it makes you present. You make decisions on the spot based on, okay, I'll go with it. Okay, let's do that. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not a 3, 6, and 9. Every choice, then you're present. You're paying attention more. So I like to throw these in, throwing these numbers out to people that are not aware of their life at all, or life itself outside of us, or the movie that's being like put in our faces. Then those sort of numbers will not do anything at this time. But it's a good thing to introduce people. Me and my sister looked at each other and smiled. And that right there, Cherry, thank you for sharing that. That is the soul. Like people, you can make eye contact with someone and you both know. And you both smile. You don't need to say anything. It doesn't need to comment. It's just the truth. It's something that you can share with each other. They're the special moments. I like them. Um, if you're a guy and a really hot girl walks past you, and you just catch eyes with another guy, and there's just appreciation. Yet we both got caught up there, and yet we both saw it. Or you share that. Or if you're in the gym and someone does something, and you're thinking to yourself, "What are they doing?" You look around, and it's like, "Yeah, I can see that too." The eyes, it's the key to the soul. So catching things like that, for me, that just shows that we don't need words. Words connected us closer to humans, yet disconnected us from God. That's something I put in 2020, which popped up the other day. And I feel that that is so true. We have all these words to explain and describe and to compile what we're putting from this experience into a way that we can communicate with other people. Yet the more choice of words we have, the more we overcomplicate things. The more choice of words we have, the more labels we give. The more labels we have, the more people feel likely to pick something that makes them unique. It's simple. The truth is simple. It's just our gift within, which is the uniqueness. And then on this next phase, as we go through, is going to be the way we share the message. For me, these are the truths. Our words, our energy, our passion. How can you argue with that? So if we can share these things, all the other stuff that has a lot of mind, has a lot of information, things that we have to digest and process, that's easier to do when we're then more tapped into our feelings. So I'm hoping that's helped a bit today. So just pay attention to these now over the next few conversations. Go into these conversations, and it could be just bring awareness to any negativity at all. Don't have to act on it, but just bring awareness to it. Just notice. Focus on the words that have the apostrophes, the can'ts, the don'ts, the won'ts. You see how people are quite negative on certain things. See how many people talk about their past or worry about the future. Straight away, you'll see there'll be common traits with certain people. Certain belief patterns are the similar things that are sharing with the energy that they're putting out. It's very easy to mirror now. And then on the flip side, you'll see when people are passionate and talk to you in a truth space, these conversations are priceless. They'll stay with you for a long time. They're the things that make life and give life a lot more purpose and meaning, because it's the things that we can learn from all the time. And we continue to keep mastering our experience, and we become the master then of our creation, mastery. And then you become the master of your mind, the mastermind. And then you find peace in all moments. It's a masterpiece. So, people, we'll leave it on that being the master. So, if you're just watching the recording, please do leave your comments below. And there's going to be a lot more of these sort of things, more topics, all sorts of topics as well. If there's anything that you'd like me to cover, please do let me know. And keep paying attention to what is being shown to us now. We are very close to something big happening, and all of these things are going to tie together, all of them. So it's just enjoying that process, paying attention and being more observant of ourselves and our reactions to things, especially the triggers, and then going into these conversations. Start looking at certain things that we bring awareness to them, and then see if we can start adding to these conversations by asking questions, by literally paying attention and being that listener. And a really good book I encourage people for things like this is called Time to Think, Nancy Klein. It's just great because she gives different scenarios within there, and you can turn any negativity around from any person within 5 questions. And she shows you loads of different examples how you'd approach that. It's limiting beliefs from people that we can change around. Asking questions is the great way to do that, and just be aware of the energy that, again, your perspective, their perspective, and the whole. So everyone, sending lots of love. This was perfect, Harry. Massive thanks, much love. You too, Reese. Good to see you. Good to see you, John. See you soon. Enjoy the Great Awakening. Indeed, indeed. And as always, just thank you for your support. I will be a lot more responsive now to messages and stuff going forwards. I've decided last year was a year for me just to pay attention, especially the latter end of the year. But I know that the role now for many of us on here is going to be a lot more clear. I just want to reinforce that it's a very small percentage of people. If you look at the Five Eyes countries, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, America, and the British Isles, are 7% of the world's population. Within that, you've got 30% of people that you say awake, 40% of people that are kind of a bit aware of what's going on, a bit educated, and people completely asleep, 30%. In the 30% of the truth movement, there's a lot of people that are not on the same team. In the truth movement as well, then in terms of love or fear. And we then narrow it down from a love space that are actually working on themselves. It's literally 1% or less. I like to look at it now, and digital soldiers too. It's a war. This is the battleground, and we're all in it. We've chose to be here. It's brilliant when you start looking at it. It's like the film 300. And we'll look back, realize that we all chose. We all were pushed into this place is something that is a bit deeper. And from that soul journey, you'll realize that you did chose, said that wrong. From the soul journey, you'll realize that you did choose the person that you are to come into it at this time, to maybe be asleep for this moment because you realize what takes place next. That's exciting. And you'll see what else we have ahead of us, which is going to be mind blowing. So thank you, Andy. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Kimmy.